Good evening, everyone. My name is Jaydeep Murthy, a first year student at NIT Allahabad, and I am pursuing a bachelor's degree in computer science and engineering. I'm sure that the last session on app development helped you all overcome your beginner problems and help you find your interest in exploring further. And now, a hearty welcome to you all to our third session on the topic cryptography. The concept of cryptography is quite complex and very detailed. So, here, we are here to apprise you all about the concept and how it helps you to ensure safe and secured communication as well as a protected information. Now, without wasting a priceless second, let us start. Are you wondering what the term cryptography consists of? Cryptography is everywhere, but do you know where we use it? Have you been aware of the procedure of our messages, passwords, transactions have always been very secure? Now, to know the answer, stick to the session. And now, without any further ado, let us dive deeper into it. Are you curious who the guest is? Today, we have a very profound person amongst us who is very interested in this concept of cryptography. Mr. Kiran Kumar sir is currently working as an associate professor at AJ Institute of Technology of Engineering and Technology in Karnataka. He has pursued his Ph.D. in VLSI in cryptography and has a very keen knowledge on network security and analysis. He has around 28 publications in this field, which is a great achievement to inspire students. Without any ado, let me invite Mr. Kiran Kumar sir onto the screen to educate us with his knowledge and experience.
Good evening.
Yes, sir.
Good
Good
evening, one and
evening.
all. Good evening to the students who have joined here. So my talk will be basics of cryptography. I'll be touching upon only the basic of cryptography and some ciphers, the classical ciphers, as well as the ciphers that we are using, uh, and then the lightweight ciphers. A little touch on lightweight ciphers, which is extremely prevalent in today's Internet of Things. So I think we can start now.
Okay. So firstly, sir, can you please introduce yourself to the audience?
Yeah. I've pursued my PhD in cryptography and VLSI from VTU Belgavi in 2021, and then my BE and MTech from NITE. I have done my MTech in control systems and microelectronics, and third rank in VTU. And apart from that, teaching, I've been teaching in AJ for 3 years, and then Sayadri College of Engineering for 12 years. So overall experience with 21 years of teaching, and then and research. So that's my short introduction. Published papers, over 25 papers in both Web of Science and SCI index journals. So that's my brief introduction.
All right, sir. I feel so honored to talk to such a proficient person like you, sir. Thank you. So, sir, can you tell us on how your
Yeah.
interest in this field of cryptography started and how prolonged further?
Actually, I this started with the project when some of my students, the PG students, came to me and started discussing about this cryptography. They were interested, so I also took a keen interest on that. And then similarly, some final year subjects we had in EC, because I belong to EC department. So I also taught the students this. So ever since then, I think it started around 2014 or 15. So since then, I have my interest grew on that, and most of my UG students as well as PG students have done projects in implementation of cryptographic algorithms in hardware as well. So that's how the interest grew, and therefore, then later on, I also did my research in this and got a PhD in this.
That is so inspirational to listen to, sir. I'm sure that students will also be feeling the same, and everyone is excited to learn from your experiences today. Okay, sir, moving along, you can take over the session with your presentation.
Do I have to share the I've already shared it. I don't know. Okay, fine. So the agenda is very simple. I'll be briefing about the cryptographic principles, the basic cryptography, then the background of it, and then uh, a little bit of classical encryption schemes that we have to that we had in the past, and then later on the encryption schemes that you use in our day-to-day life, plus the conventional cryptography and that is used widely used lightweight cryptography. So let me start. So in olden days, if you have seen, just before the computers came into existence, everything was on paper. So if you go to a bank, all your transactions were done on papers. Okay, so but in the recent times, the information security requirements have changed. In olden days, what we have to do is suppose there was a room where everything was stored. Only a few persons were able to that is access that particular room. But the same thing, there were three security triads, that is confidentiality, integrity, and availability. So the confidentiality is the information that we store is very confidential, and integrity, that any information between any two persons must be that is whatever I share to a person, that should go to that particular person only. So that is integrity. And availability, whenever the data is being needed, that data has to be available to me. So these three requirements, whether it was the olden days files, or today what we store it in computer or in cloud, it remains the same. So the computer, but nowadays what we have is the computer uses the automated tools to protect these files and other stored information. So the use of network and communication links requires measures to protect data during transmission. So cryptography, it is the basic, it is the science of secret or hidden writing. So in earlier olden days, we used to write the information and used to send it. And it was sent by some third person. Whom the third person, uh, it it was sent by a third person. So the third person was always a trusted party. So today the encryption, uh, there are two main components of what is that, the cryptography, that is encryption, where encryption is nothing but the practice of hiding messages, or hiding the messages such that they cannot be read by any other party, like an adversary or a intruder. So, uh, or other than any intended recipient. Then we have authentication and integrity, which ensures that any of the data or the information that we send, that it is read by the or received by that same the person that is intended. Okay, and the message that will be that will not be altered by any adversary, or the uh, what we call it as uh, any adversary. So this is the basic flow, or a cipher model that we have. Okay, we have a plain text which is the input. Okay, the plain text is nothing but the message that we have, and then we have an encryption algorithm. Okay, so there are various algorithms which I'll have a few algorithms which I'll touch upon later, and then there will be a key. Okay, and then this message will be transmitted, and the transmission will be a channel. So this channel is will be accessible to all, and then the message will be received by the recipient, and the key, what is there is either is a secret key, And then this key can be either it is a shared key, the same key where we have a symmetric cipher, or the key can be different, uh, which is called as an asymmetric key. So I'll also touch upon the symmetric ciphers as well as the asymmetric ciphers also later in my presentation. So then we have a decryption algorithm. Normally, the decryption algorithm will be the reverse of the encryption algorithm. And then once we decrypt the message, what we get is the plain text output. So this is the normal flow. So normally here, the channel that the message flows will be always accessible to any of the parties. So if an adversary or an attacker tries to get the message, even though that message will be encrypted form and it will be unreadable, or even if it is a communication line, the message, whatever he can listen to it, will be in an encrypted form, and therefore he cannot be able to understand what the message is. So that is the basic flow of the cipher model. And then some of the basic terminology that we have here from our previous slide, from this slide, that is the plain text, which is the original message that has to be encrypted. And then we have the ciphertext, which is encrypted message. So once uh, one second, yeah, once we feed the plain text or the information that is to be sent to the encryption algorithm, and this encryption algorithm uses a key so as to encrypt the message. So once the message is encrypted, what happens is uh, we have a ciphertext. The output of the encrypted message is nothing but the ciphertext. So then we have an encryption or enciphering. We can call it as enciphering also, which is the process of converting the plain text into the ciphertext. And then the encryption algorithm, which performs an encryption. So here, the thing is, very simple thing is, the encryption algorithm will always be known to public. So it is better that we are not going to keep the encryption algorithm secret. Only the thing that is to be kept secret is the key. The key will be secret. And here, one more thing is the key will be always be, if it is a symmetric cipher, then the key will be shared through a channel again here, which will be by a trusted third party. The trusted third party can be either by a key distribution channel, okay, which will be known to both the sender as well as the recipient, and that he will be a trusted person. Just like we have a manager in a bank who knows the data about our what is that the bank the details of our transactions. So a manager is a trusted person who knows the details about our bank transactions, how much money we have in a bank, and so and so. So he is a trusted third person there. So that is another thing. So here, what I want to say is the encryption algorithm should be known to the public. The reason is very simple. If there is any vulnerability in the algorithm that we have designed, then that can be overcome. Suppose an adversary or an attacker tries to what is that he can say what the vulnerability is there in the algorithm, and then once we design an algorithm or develop an algorithm, okay, and then we put it onto the public, the somebody will try to hack that algorithm, and will then we can say that what vulnerability is there, and then perhaps we can modify that algorithm. So there are many algorithms which have been modified once those algorithms were attacked, which I'll be talking about that also a little bit. So then the two inputs are plain text and the secret key. Then the cipher or cryptographic system, it's a scheme for encryption as well as decryption. Then we have cryptography, which is science of studying ciphers. Okay, there are n number of ciphers from the olden days to the present day system. The present days we have the lightweight ciphers, which are very much useful for the present Internet of Things. And then cryptanalysis is nothing but studying of attacks, the science of studying attacks. So if he does if an attacker does it legally, then he's called as an cryptanalyst. If he does it illegally, he's called as an attacker, or what is that, hacker. So a legal way is called as a cryptanalyst. So science of studying attacks against the cryptographic systems is nothing but a cryptanalysis. So cryptology is nothing but both cryptography as well as crypt analysis. So let us now look at what are the different ciphers that are there. So some basic terms that are there. As I've told earlier, we have two types: symmetric and asymmetric cipher. We'll be also looking at what are the advantages and disadvantages of symmetric and asymmetric cipher as well. So when we use the same key for both encryption and decryption, then it is called as a symmetric cipher. Only the difficulty here is the sharing of the keys, because we have to share the key through a trusted third party. So at that time, the key can be, there is a possibility that the key can be attacked. Then we have a block cipher. That again, the ciphers are broadly divided as block ciphers or stream ciphers, where in a block cipher, which will encrypt a plain text using a block of plain text at a time. So typically 64, 128, and so on. Okay, are the blocks that you can encrypt. Whereas a stream cipher will encrypt data one bit by bit, 1 bit or 1 byte at a time. And then we have asymmetric cipher, where we use different keys for both encryption and decryption. So in case of symmetric encryption, the key is a single key. Okay, whereas in asymmetric encryption, we have multiple keys or two keys, one for encryption, one for decryption. Or we can have a public key where suppose there are 5 users, one key is can be shared by 5 users, where 5 users are using 5 different keys. Okay, suppose there is a account where 5 persons are using it at the same time, then 5 persons will have 5 keys, and then one main key for a person who is the sole proprietor of that. Okay, so that is how an asymmetric encryption. So in symmetric encryption, we have a single key, and that is the secret key. Then sender and recipient will be sharing the keys here. And all classical encryption, that is all olden days algorithms, are basically symmetric key. And the only type of ciphers prior to the invention of asymmetric ciphers, only asymmetric ciphers came into existence only after 1970s. But earlier to that, symmetric encryptions were by most used. So this is mathematics. Basically, cryptography is nothing but maths. Okay, so when we saw here we have in mathematically, if I say y is the ciphertext here, so encryption using the key k of a plain text x. So y is the output of the encryption using the key k, and then decryption here is if you are decrypting it, so output is x, where decryption using the k key k, using that key, either it can be the symmetric or asymmetric. If it is asymmetric, then it will be k1 and k2 for decryption. So x here is the plain text, y is the ciphertext, k is the secret key here. And here again, encryption algorithm and decryption algorithm are known to the public. Only here secret is the key. Key is not known to anyone other than the sender and the receiver. And just one or two slides on crypt analysis. In the crypt analysis or crypt analyst, it's trying to recover the plain text from the ciphertext, okay, and or trying to recover the secret key. By the knowledge of what is that ciphertext, I can try to recover either the plain text or the secret key. So that is basically what is crypt analysis, or that is what an attacker tries to do. If he knows the ciphertext, by using some mathematics or some algorithms, he can try to get back the get the secret key or the plain text. So an adversary knows all the details about the crypto system except the secret key here. So there are two general approaches how to get the get the secret key or the plain text, either by using the brute force attack or some other cryptanalytic attacks. Now, brute force is this is named after the king Brute, who tried to who was attacked by an adversary, and uh, he tried to get back his kingdom. Uh, um, he attacked 10 times, and in the 11th time he won it. So using all the possible keys, you can try to get back the plain text. That is normally called as brute force, and it takes lot of time. It takes lot of time, depending on the algorithm, depending upon the secret key, or depending upon the ciphertext. So this requires a lot of time. And non-brute force attack, I can here you can develop your own algorithms, or based on the known algorithm or ciphertext or plain text or the keys. So that is non-brute force attack. So suppose this is something about based on the key size. Suppose I have a 32-bit key, then the number of alternative ways that we can get back the plain text is 2 power 32, which is 4.3 into 10 raised to 9. That is possibly if the time required for one time required at one decryption per microsecond. If you are using microsecond, then it will take 35.8 minutes to do that. Okay, or if you are using some hi-fi processor which takes 10 to the power of 6 decryption per microsecond, then it will be possibly at 2.15 milliseconds. And by today we have a lot of computers, supercomputers, which are working at gigahertz or terahertz, so which will take fewer seconds than what we have. So if you are using 168 bit key size, then possibly the time required to if you are using 10 raised to 6 decryption per microsecond, then the time to decrypt a particular information, it requires so many years. So in simple ways, I can say that as you increase the key size, the time required for decryption or for any adversary, it will take what is that a lot of time to decrypt a message. So the thing is, any algorithm is not what is that it is possible to decrypt it, but the time required. So that is what here the word I want to use is computationally infeasible. Computationally infeasible to uh, decrypt a particular message, okay, by using all the techniques, either the brute force or non-brute force techniques. So there are many ways you can do crypt analysis, either by ciphertext only attack. You know the ciphertext, by somehow you can generate. Say for example, uh, uh, there are two normally in the morning, the first message you send is good morning. So that means the adversary tries to know what is the first message that is being sent. Or in the there are many other things as well. And then known plain text attack. Okay, if you know the plain text, then you can get the other things. So chosen plain text attack. So some of part of the you have a lot entire data, okay, entire data, and if you know some of the plain text from that data, then possibly you can get back the key. Okay, and then chosen ciphertext attack. Chosen ciphertext and the whatever the algorithm, you can try to. So 4 ways how you can get back the plain text. So let us now move to the some of the ciphers. Okay, so the earlier ciphers, that was classical cipher text. So uh, there are two techniques here again. One is by substitution, other is by permutation. Okay, so where the letters of the plain text are replaced by the other letters. Okay, so or numbers or symbols. So if the plain text is used as a sequence of bits, then substitution involves replacing the plain text bit patterns with the ciphertext bit patterns. So the first cipher known was the Caesar ciphers, which was Julius Caesar, which was used by the Roman Empire in the earlier days for their military affairs. Okay, so it is just very simple. Just say, for example, the third letter was used. Just simply add +3 to the what is that, to your plain text. So here key is possibly 3 here. Say meet m plus 3 is p, e plus 3 is h, e plus 3 is h, and t plus 3, that is after 3 replace the next 3 letter word, it will be w. So meet me after the toga party, which will be replaced by ph, hw, ph, and so on. So this is this was used by the during by the, what is that, military of the Roman Empire, by the Julius Caesar in their early days. So this is how it is. So A is replaced by D, B is replaced by E, and so on. So the encryption algorithm here is very simple. P plus K is the encryption algorithm, mod 26. So we have mod, so 25 is there, so mod 26, which will give back. Decryption will be C minus K mod 26. So the algorithm for encryption and decryption is very simple here. So key is possibly 3, or it can be any from 0 to n. Sorry, 1 to 25 or 26 can be key K. Then we have monoalphabetic ciphers, which rather than just shifting the alphabet, you can shuffle the letters arbitrarily. So just shift the or jumble the letters here. So as you can see, the plain text is something A to Z here, which is being, the ciphertext is replaced by some jumbled kind of thing here. So again, so we have seen the decryption time for this in our previous slide. Then we have the Playfair cipher. Okay, Playfair cipher was also used in 18 or 19 up to 1900. So not even the large number of keys in the monoalphabetic provide security, but this has a little bit improved security compared to the earlier two ciphers, as you can see here in this slide. So here the keyword is monarchy, monarchy. So you have a what is that, 5 cross 5 matrix here, which has 5 rows and 5 columns. So the first key will be placed in the first letter. Suppose monarchy. Suppose there is a repetitive word, then that word will not be repeated here. Only thing is all the alphabets are placed here, monarchy, and then the remaining words, that is you start from A is already there in the key there, so you start from B, C is there in the key, so D, E, F, G, H is there. I and J will be one letter. That is the algorithm. Okay, that is the algorithm for Playfair. And then K, H, I, J, K, L, M is already there. N is already there. P, Q, R is there. S, T, U, V, W, X, Y is there, and Z. Now the algorithm is, suppose I have a word here that is wireless. Okay, you take 2 letters at a time, W, I, R, E, L, E, S. S is repeated, so you replace because you can't take 2 same letters. That is the rule of the algorithm. So S and X, then S and Z. Either by any other letters, S is placed with paired up. You take 2 letters at a time. So for this R and E are paired, L and E are paired. S and S cannot be, because 2 same letters cannot be taken as per the rule of the algorithm. So S and X, then S and Z. So WI, if you see from the this what is that, matrix or the table, WI, W is here and I is here, I and J, I or J. So W is replaced by X. So you just you take the, what is that, same you make a rectangle or a square of that particular this. So W and I are here, so you make a rectangle here. You replace the other side of that particular rectangle. So W is replaced by X, I is replaced by J. Similarly, RE, if you take R and E, so we have R over here and E over here. So R is replaced by M, E is replaced by K. Okay, M and K. So on. L and E, if you see, L is replaced by L and E. It is same. If the two what is that plain text comes in the same column or the same row, then you go downwards. L and E is there here in the same what is that same row, sorry, same column. So L is replaced by U, E is replaced by L. So L is replaced by U, E is replaced by L. If it is on the same row, suppose if it is on the same column, sorry, same row, suppose I have F and G, F will be replaced by G, G will be replaced by I. That is how the rule for the algorithm as per the Playfair. So this is how encrypting and decrypting is done in the same manner. It will be taken to the right or left. So both encryption and decryption. Then we have Varnam cipher or the one-time pad. So here in this case of Varnam cipher, the keyword will be as long as the plain text, and there is no statistical relationship to it. The Varnam system works on a binary data in which the ith bit of the text will be XORed. So basically, XOR operation is the one of the most important what is that operation that is used in any encryption process. Okay, then one-time keypad is just used once, and this scheme is unbreakable. This scheme is unbreakable. Okay, then we have transposition cipher. As I've told, either substitution ciphers or transposition ciphers in case of alphabets. So in case of transposition cipher, you just what is that? Suppose I have a plain text here. Meet me up to the toga party. You just write one letter one below the other, and just uh, so you just jumble up that whatever the in short I can say you just jumble up the only the ciphertext here. There is no key or nothing like that. So that is basically the transposition cipher. These whatever the plain text is there, you're just jumbling it up in whatever manner here, depending upon the rail fence depth 2. Depth 2 means we have two what is that rows. If I have a depth of 4, then we have 4 rows, and then we jumble up in that way. Okay, so here we have 2. So M, then I write E downwards, E T M E, like that. So one up, one down, one up, one down. Then the first row is written here, MEMA. So MEMATR, first row is written, then the second row is written. So that is how you just simply jumble up whatever the plain text is there as it is. So you don't have either a key or here in this case. Just only the key here is the depth, either 2, 3, 4, and so on. Okay, if there is it is 3 means I will have a 3 rows. So this is about the classical ciphers. There are many ciphers as well. There is one more popular Hill cipher. Okay, it takes time, so that's why I what is that, to explain that. So that's why I have not included here. Hill cipher is another one famous cipher about that. So the difference between the block cipher and the stream cipher, as I've told, the block cipher encrypts based on blocks either 64 bit or 128 bits and so on, whereas the stream cipher encrypts bit by bit. And then most of the current ciphers are block ciphers. Okay, because the stream cipher takes a lot of time, and as we the encryption should be faster. That is what is basically. So this is the general block diagram of a block cipher. Okay, you take n bits at a time. This is whatever the plain text, a lot of plain text we have, but we take n bits at a time and then encrypt by using the key. Key can be any k bits. The key can be here any of these 40, 56, 64, and so on bits. Okay, then you get the cipher text. This is basically the block cipher. Now, some of the principles that we have for block cipher, all the block ciphers are basically based on the Feastel cipher structure. So what is Feastel cipher structure? Let us see that. Okay, so then it must needed to be able to decrypt the ciphertext or to recover the messages efficiently. Okay, so all these are based on the fiscal structure, and the block cipher looks like an extremely large substitution. So the table is 2 power 64 entries for a 64-bit block. Okay, so it is an using an idea of product cipher. This is generally how a block cipher, say for example, I have a 64 to 16 decoder 4-bit input, then I can do some whatever the algorithm. Here, this can be an algorithm to get the 4-bit output. Then we have something called as normally most of the algorithm use SPN network, that is substitution and permutation network. This idea was basically introduced by Claude Shannon in his 1949 paper. Okay, substitution and permutation. You just substitute a particular block or permute the particular block. So most of the algorithms uh, are based on SPN networks or based on only arithmetic methods. Okay, so either you can you have SPN networks or basically only the arithmetic using what is that XOR or modulo algorithms based on that. So it can be either of them, and both of them are they have advantages and disadvantages based on the maybe based on the timing, or if you are using hardware to develop it, then area, all those things. So form basis the modern block ciphers. Networks are based on two primitive cryptographic operation, that is substitution. Normally we call it as S box, substitution box. You have a box where a particular number or a digit or a binary, a block of data will be substituted by that particular block. Then permute, you simply permute that particular block among themselves. Okay, so this is most important for any what is that algorithm. Confusion and diffusion. Any algorithm that a particular developer or designer designs must have these two properties, that is confusion and diffusion. Okay, so for an attacker, the algorithm must confuse as well as diffuse that particular what is that, the block of data. Okay, confusion and diffusion, a little bit more. Ciphertext needs to be completely obscure statistical properties of the original message. One-time pad will do this. Okay, then more practically, Shannon suggested combining substitution and permutation elements so as to obtain diffusion as well as confusion. Okay, diffusion is nothing but dissipates the statistical structure of the plain text over a bulk of ciphertext, and confusion, it makes the relationship between the ciphertext and the key as complex as possible. That's what a particular what is that algorithm, that the decryption or the attacker, for an attacker, to get the plain text from the ciphertext, it should be computationally infeasible. Okay, so when you have these properties, that is confusion and diffusion, then the algorithm will be more computationally infeasible to what is that, for an adversary to uh, decrypt it. So let us look at what a Feastel structure is. Okay, it was developed by Horst Feastel. Okay, and then the thing is, normally a block of data will be divided into two halves, right half and the left half. Okay, then there will be a number of rounds, n number of rounds. Based on the number of rounds here is basically uh, more the number of rounds, the more what is that, the algorithm will be more secure. And then perform the substitution on left half of the data, and then do some round function on the right half, and then permute it. Okay, and then implement Shannon's SPN concept. So this is the cipher structure. So most of the algorithm, whether it is DES or AES or the lightweight algorithms like the Simon cipher or present cipher, will have this structure. Okay, so it's very simple here. You have the plain text, which is 2 n bits or 2 w bits. Okay, and then it will be divided into two half, that is left half and the right half, and then you perform some function. This function is basically the function which is computationally infeasible using the particular key. Okay, so this function will vary based on the algorithm. Okay, it can have SPN network, or it can have some arithmetic operations, modulo operations, or XOR operations, or some other operations. Okay, then you have the perform some operation on the right half and the left half as well, and then do swapping and so on. And here is the number of rounds, and based on how many number of rounds, so many number of keys will be there. And some of something on key generation. For key generating this key, you have some initial key, maybe a 64-bit or 128-bit. You need to have some algorithm for generating the key as well. Okay, and then key generation itself is another, what is that, area of research. Okay, or area of where the students can also implement some project, random number generation. Okay, most of them which are used in Monte Carlo simulations, all these things, you need random number generation. So cryptography also finds a place here for generating this key using random number generation techniques. So that part also can be researched as well, or some students can also do some projects on random number generation as well. Okay, it can be either done in software techniques or some hardware techniques as well. So this is what the block size, how many, what is the number of blocks that you are going to encrypt. Key size, as we have seen in the earlier slides, that the key size can vary 48, 64, 128, and so on. Number of rounds, as I've told earlier, the number of rounds can vary. The more the number of rounds, the more secure the algorithm will be. But again, the increasing the number of rounds for the modern day technology, wherein your message or the information is passing through lightweight devices, or what is that, low resource devices, then the number of rounds will be lesser, because the requirement of the resources is very less. I mean, the algorithm and the conventional algorithm will not fit into the lightweight devices. So therefore, the number of rounds also uh, uh, will be one of them. Okay, then as I've told, the key generation algorithm, you are using random number generation techniques here. As I've told earlier, that key generation itself is another area where students can do project on, where you use for Monte Carlo simulations and other simulations things. Okay, that itself has a lot of what is that? A lot of uh, applications. Then you have a round function. The function in the previous slide was what, this is the main thing, the function. Okay, the algorithm. So round function. Then any algorithm must encrypt faster, and either it can be software or hardware. Okay, you can implement in hardware like FPGAs, or you can implement in your microcontrollers as well, or you have the what is that, the lot of other hardwares. Okay, then ease of analysis. For any analysis that is to be done, must be easier for us. Okay, there are a lot of analysis for doing the algorithms. Okay, for implementing. So this is how encryption and decryption fiscal cipher will look like. Okay, this, it is the same reverse by using the same keys, I would say. Okay, for decrypt the message. Okay, then let us now look. So we have seen the classical, the olden day algorithms. Let us see some of the modern day ciphers. Okay, which block ciphers. The earliest was DES, Data Encryption Standard, and then later, which was replaced by AES, which is Advanced Encryption Standard. Okay, so DES, which encrypts 64-bit block using a 64-bit key. Okay, normally it could be 56 plus 8-bit parity it might use. Then this algorithm was used in earlier days during the 70s, 80s, but it was cracked later in the 1997. Okay, by using exhaustive key space method. And obviously, when the computer, what is that, the processor, this thing has grown over the years, isn't it? It was working on hertz. Now it is working in terahertz. It came to giga. Then now you have more than terahertz processors now. So that definitely the olden days algorithm will be definitely hacked by these. It is easier using what is that, exhaustive methods can be done. So decryption in DES, it's symmetric using key Ka, okay, and then same key can be used to decrypt as well. This is basically how a DES algorithm looks like. Okay, this is a general outline structure that I have given. Okay, so it's a 64-bit key is taken. It is divided into two 32-bit each, left and right. L1 R1 here it shows left and right, which is swapped here or permuted. And then you have a 56-bit key where in you're generating 48-bit key. Okay, you can see that using a initial 56-bit key, use some key generating algorithm, which will, these all 48-bit K1, K2, K3, and 16 K16. So 16 rounds are there basically here. So all K1, K2 is different, K3 is different, and so on. So all 16 bit keys are different. So this is generated by using 56-bit key. Okay. So then you use XOR operation or some functions, okay, uh, to get the next round. Okay. Then you have second round, third round, and so on. So 16 rounds are there. Okay. Then the final inverse permutation stage is also there. So this is a little bit more about that. So key generation algorithm is here, as you can see in green. Okay, some compression and permutation. So initially you have a 56-bit key, which will be compressed to 48. Some of the bits will be removed there and for 48. So you do the key K1 to K16 will be 48-bit each. Okay, and then this 48-bit key will be used to by using an XOR operation, which will be uh, given what is that, for the next stages. So you have the function here, f function. Okay, the f function, as you have seen here, f function will have these operations, that is expansion bar permutation. So 32-bit, as I have told here, 64-bit is divided into 32-bit block, and then this 32-bit will be expanded to 48-bit, and then permutation among themselves, permute among themselves, and then you XOR 48. Output here is 48. 48-bit output is XORed with the 48-bit key, and then this 48-bit is given to the S box, where you substitute those 48-bit with some other block, okay, based on that S box, okay, and then you get then output of 32-bit here, and then you give it to a permutation box, and then the output of 32 will be XORed again with the left half so as to get the right half. This is one single round. So there are 16 such rounds for this particular DES algorithm. Okay. Then, since DES was perhaps attacked in 1997, then came triple DES and so on. But the most later, which came into existence, was advanced encryption standard. Okay, so an advanced encryption standard encrypts 128 or 256 and so on using the key 128, 192 and so on. So this actually there is one what is called as NIST, okay, National Institute of Standards and Technology by the US, which does all the what is that which algorithm. So there were many candidates, and these five algorithms were what is that sorted out, and then Rindle algorithm was selected, and to be then this Rindle was named as advanced encryption standard. Okay, this became the standard algorithm for all the encryption schemes. So it was designed by Raymond and Damon from Belgium. Okay, and it can be either 128, 192, and 256. So as the number of bits increases, the number of what is that rounds also increases. Okay, so this is till date it has not been attacked, resistant to all any known attacks, and speed and code compactness on many CPUs, and design simplicity. It is very simple. The design is anybody can understand the design how it is. Okay, this is the general structure of the encryption. I'm not going to what is that give a detail here. I'm just touching upon all the algorithms. So I'm not going to explain what is there here. Okay, just this is the structure. So n number of rounds are there. So as I've told, based on the what is that the encryption bits, the input bit 128 or 192, the number of rounds increases. Okay, so as here we have so 16 that is that 10 rounds for key length of 16 bytes, 12 rounds for key length of 24 bytes, and 14 rounds for key length of 32 bits. Okay, so number of rounds increases based on the number of key length. So this is this I've just told you about two symmetric, and there are n number of encryption algorithms. If you just Google it, you'll find a lot of algorithms. So only thing is here the what is the key is symmetric. So therefore we need to what is that share the key through a trusted third party. And the thing is this the if any adversary gets the key, then definitely uh, there will be a compromise in security. Okay, the key needs to be delivered to the recipient of the code using a coded message for it to be deciphered. Potential for eavesdropping attack during the transmission of the key. Okay, so that is one limitation of it, but this has that is there. Okay, then let me now touch upon the encryption, asymmetric encryption. So it uses different key for encryption and different key for decryption. So it can be public or private. When I mean public, means suppose one this public key will be shared among n users. It can, as I've told here, suppose in what is that in a house there are five members, that is five members who are using one same bank account, then this key will be shared by those five numbers. Okay, so public key, that will be called as public key. Private key is the one key. Suppose head of the member will be having a private key. Okay, so this will not be known to any others. Okay, it will be known to only that particular person. So it can this private key can be either at the encryption side or at the decryption side, similar and vice versa. Okay, so public key and private key. That is about public key and private key. Okay, so here only thing is the key need not be shared to a what is that channel. Okay, that is one advantage compared to the uh, symmetric encryption. So let us uh, see here. The most popular algorithm is RSA and ELGAMA. So RSA was developed by three what is that three researchers: Ron Rivest, Adi Shamir, and Len Edelman, and therefore they named it as RS and A. Okay, Ron, Shamir, and Edelman. So that is basically RSA algorithm. So both public and private key are interchangeable. As I've told, this public key can be used at either at the decryption side or at the encryption side, and vice versa. Okay. So the key size can be variable: 512, 1024, and 2048 bits. Okay, and most popular public key algorithm is RSA. Okay, and then we have Algamal system as well. This is the basic of the algorithm that is used for encryption. Okay, you have two large prime numbers. The numbers are very large. The larger the number, the encryption what is that the security will be more. That's why you use large numbers. Okay, two large prime numbers, n equal to p into q. You calculate the product of p and q. Okay, and then you calculate some z, which is p minus 1 into q minus 1, and then you choose a number e which is such that it should be less than n, and it has no common factor other than 1. That means it should be relatively prime. Okay, e should be relatively prime to n. then find number d such that it should be e into d must minus 1 should be exactly divisible by z. So this is about the algorithm. Then you calculate the public key and then you calculate the private key. Then the encryption algorithm is very simple. C is equal to m power e mod n, where m is the plain text and c is the ciphertext, and you decrypt using c equal m equal you get back the plain text using c power d mod n. Okay, so here the key is shared uh, by, and the private key is hidden. Public key will be shared and the private key is hidden. Okay, you get the public key as well as the private key by using this algorithm. So one simple example that we have taken, PS5 is being selected in QS7. You calculate n, that is 5 into 7, that is 35. You calculate z, where n minus 1, sorry, p minus 1, p 5 minus 1 is 4, 7 minus 1 is 6, you get 24. And then you take e as 5, which is less than n, okay, which is relatively prime to n, okay. Then d you get, then you get the private key and the public key. Suppose I have a word LOVE, you the numeric representation is 12, 15, 22, and 5, and m power e is this m power e. Okay, you have an e that is being selected, and then you get the this is the plain text. Sorry, ciphertext. By using you calculate the ciphertext using c is equal to m power e mod n. Okay, m power e mod n. So you get the ciphertext as 17, 15, 22, 10, which is 17, 15, 22, 10. Okay, and then this is the decryption. Okay, word love. Encryption and decryption of using RSA algorithm. So definitely this particular thing the students can try for their mini projects as well. Excuse me, the slide is not moving. Just check something has happened in the background. It's not moving. I want to go back. It came to 48 slide. Yeah, here. Next slide. No, previous slide. 47 slide. So the weakness of the asymmetric encryption is that uh, just now we have seen that it is m power e. The calculation for what is that? You have a number that is very huge. So possibly 1024 bit, if you are using it, is equivalent to 128 bit. So therefore, efficiency is very lower. Okay, if you are designing this algorithm using an hardware, then it takes a lot of time to do an encryption and decryption. Okay, so that is then there is a potential of man in the middle attack. Okay, I'm not going to talk about man in the middle attack. It's also there in your what is that? You can search for that how the man in the middle attack is done here. Okay, it's a problematic to get the key pair generated for the encryption. Next slide. I can't move the slide. Okay, so we talked about classical encryption. We talked about the modern day encryption methods, and then we talked about the in the modern day we have studied. I talked about what is that the asymmetric as well as asymmetric encryption. Let me just one or two slides tell what is lightweight cryptography. So today's day we have Internet of Things, where the message is passed from the conventional devices like the laptop laptops or the servers, high-end servers, and the data is also transmitted to very small sensors, okay, where the data, the low resource devices, in short I can say, okay. So when the data is passed to low resource devices, the conventional algorithms like the AES or whatever the conventional algorithm will not fit into these low resource devices. So the algorithms, when you have such operations like what is that, SPN based networks or conventional algorithms will not fit into these resource constrained devices, okay. So the today's internet of things is nothing but the messages will flow from the high end devices, from the like the servers to the low resource devices, isn't it? So but the thing is, the three security triad what I've told earlier, that is confidentiality, integrity, and authentication, must be there, isn't it? So therefore, we need to develop such lightweight cryptographic algorithms, okay. So this has been the research nowadays, okay. So next, please, next slide. So there are a lot of factors, whether it is computational power, the size of the RAM or the ROM, and the registers and so on, okay, or the what is that, the algorithm, the computational, what is that, the time required to compute, do the encryption and decryption. All these will play a major role, isn't it? So therefore, the need is there to develop such efficient and effective algorithm. So that is the greatest challenge nowadays, to develop lightweight cryptography. Okay, so let us see what are the different types of lightweight cryptography. Next slide. So yeah, there is one more advantage. So between we have the what is the advantage of software? So traditionally, the all the algorithms were used in were developed by used in software itself. Okay, the advantages is in the software is ease of use, ease of upgrade, portability, and so on. Whereas if you implement algorithms in hardware, then the prices will be low, then speeds can be faster, because you are designing the algorithm for that particular application only, so FPGA, and so therefore you can have lower power dissipation compared to the software implementations. On the downside, the software implementation offers moderate speed, high power consumption compared to custom hardware, and only limited physical security. So here, the physical security is again limited compared to the hardware implementation. Okay, so hardware implementation of cryptographic algorithms are more secure because they cannot be easily read by, or it cannot be modified by an outside attacker compared to software implementation. So that is why in modern days we go for hardware implementations. Next, please. There are very other advantages always. Algorithm agility, algorithm upload. Agility is ease of switching, okay, between the algorithms. Suppose I can, if I am, I can have multiple algorithms in particular hardware, and I can easily switch over the algorithm so as to provide more security. Suppose I can have 2 or 5 algorithms in that same hardware, and I can switch between the algorithms. So that can also be done. Okay, algorithm upload, you can easily upload in a hardware. Efficiency increases, resource efficiency, as I've told, for the modern internet of things, it can become more efficient. Modified algorithm can be modified by the designer as and when it is required. The throughput increases, and cost efficiency as well. Next slide. Yeah, this is about the 1 or 2 algorithms. Let us see, based on what is that, the modern day what is, lightweight algorithm. Simon cipher is one such algorithm which is widely used for the low resource devices. Okay, here again, the plain text size can be 2n, and the size of the key will be w into n bits, where n can be 16, 24, 32, and 64, and w can be 2, 3, 4. Okay, and it uses simple operations: XOR, and operation. That's all. And then you have the rotation, right and rotate left. So as you can see here, you split the input 2n into n bits each, and then you perform XOR operation here, and then this is left shift by 1 bit, 8 bit, and 2 bit, and then you perform the XOR operations at, and then you do the XOR using that key, whatever the key is generated. You have a key generation algorithm for Simon as well, and then you swap. So this is one round of operations. So there will be n rounds of operations here. So this is about Simon cipher. And then you have the present algorithm, which is again, which is another algorithm, which is why I have taken Simon present is the reason is these are the two widely used algorithms in the present day. So present algorithm, which encrypts a 64-bit plain text using a 80-bit key or a 128-bit key. So it has an SPN structure. So while Simon uses, I have taken again two different algorithms here because Simon uses only XOR operations and AND operations, whereas the present uses SPN structures. So as I've told earlier, the algorithms can be either based on SPN structure or based on the arithmetic operations. Okay, so it is based on SPN structure. So it has 31 rounds plus one final round. So basically there are 32 rounds. Then algorithm has two stages and then iteration operations as well. Then you have add round key, S box, and so on, permutation bits and so on. Yes. This is the present algorithm. Key updating is nothing but the key generation. Okay, where n number of based on how many number of rounds, so many number of what is that keys should be generated here, and then we have SP substitution and permutation boxes as well. So you use 16 4-bit boxes are there. Okay, so 4-bit S box is used here. 4 bits are substituted by another 4 bits. Then your permutation layer, you just simply permute among the bits. So this is about permutation, present algorithm. So that's all. So we have seen the classical ciphers and different types of ciphers in my talk. So now I'm open to questions from the students.
Wow, sir, that was very informative and up to the point. Thank you, sir, for explaining in detail where we have a lot of information from the presentation. Okay, viewers, now it's high time we have a quiz and miss the session to boost our excitement. Let's go.
Hey viewers, hope you are acquiring knowledge in the concept of cryptography. And here is an exciting quiz waiting for you to test your basic knowledge. And here we go with our first question on the screen, please. A mechanism is used to encrypt and decrypt data. Here we have options. Option A, cryptography. Option B, algorithm. Option C, data flow. Option D, none of these. Post your answers in the chat box. Yes, Kishan, your answer is correct. Option A, cryptography. Second question, please. The conventional cryptography, also known as dash encryption. Fill the blank. Option A, asymmetric key. Option B, logical key. Option C, symmetric key. Option D, none of this. Hurry up, guys. Yes, Seshank, try something new. Okay. Okay. Okay, the correct option is C, asymmetric. Third question. The process of studying cryptographic system is also known as crypt analysis. True or false? Option A, true. Option B, false. Baratendu, your answer is correct. Option A, true. Next question. Cipher in cryptography is option A, encrypted message. Option B, algorithm for performing encrypted and decrypted message. And option C, both algorithms for performing encryption and decryption and encrypted message. Option D, and decrypted message. Op- Gayatri, you are correct. Option B, algorithm for performing encryption and decryption is the correct option. Next question. Which of the following is not a principle of data security? Option A, data confidentiality. Option B, data integrity. Option C, authentication. Option D, none of this. Hurry up, guys. Okay, the correct answer is option D, none of the above. Okay, thank you everyone for answering all these questions with a burning energy. I'm sure that this quiz part is rising an excitement in everyone to learn. Now the chat is yours. Start posting all of your questions and let's shoot them on our today's guest. Thank you.
Hope you all had an amazing experience answering and learning the quiz questions. So, sir, as we can see that there are numerous questions that are coming up in the comments, shall we start taking the questions from the live chat?
Yeah.
Okay, can we have the first question, please? Okay, so the first question is from Ajay. So, why is cryptography banned in some countries?
I'm sorry, I'm not sure about this. Can you tell which countries is it banned? Cryptography banned? It's not cryptography banned. Cryptocurrency, I feel. Cryptography is...
All right, so we'll be moving to the second question. The second question is by Akhil. How far can we trust cryptocurrencies?
Yeah, that is the thing that is why most of the countries have not adopted it. That's why even India till date has not adopted. So I'm not sure how much to trust, because most of them till now, many of them are having a trust in it, and many of them are not. So just like the same even in cryptography also, right? The If we are talking about symmetric encryption, we are sending the key through a shared trusted third party. That third party is not known to us, which is like we are saving our data today. The data is saved in a cloud. We don't know where the cloud is or who the person that is having the cloud, just like Amazon or somebody else is. But we don't know whether whatever the information that we are saving it today, even the Facebook, whether it is even that is hacked, isn't it? So that depends whether it's trust or what is that, how to trust it. That's so those who trust, they'll definitely do it. So cryptocurrencies, that's why India also has not till now, they have not accepted the cryptocurrencies, right? So it's not
Yes.
legal now, right? In India till now it's not legal. So most of the countries are not legal cryptocurrency.
Yeah. Okay, thank you, sir. Can we have the third question now? Okay, so the third question is by Pesav. Kesav. What
Yeah, I think
opportunities?
I've touched on three things. One is you can be a cryptography algorithm developer. You can work on random number generation, and there you can do something. Basically, it is just learning mathematics and learning coding, isn't it? So I think for jobs, I think cybersecurity is nowadays prevailing. Okay, and then cryptography definitely is. Then yeah, any of the fields you can go. Software, cybersecurity
Okay,
is
thank you,
now
sir.
what is that, hot this thing, hot cake for everyone.
Thank you, sir. Can we have the fourth question? So, what are the platforms or resources to start learning cryptography?
Basically, EC students and CS and IS students, they'll have I'm not sure, EC students are having what is that, not a core subject, or some universities have this as a core subject. But I think you can learn from Google as well, because basically how I learned was in the same way. As I've told earlier, my some of the students came to me and started asking me, sir, can we do this project? So uh, I told them, yes, you do it. And then based on that, I also started learning with them. So basically, learning is like that. We learn from students rather than we learn from ourselves, isn't it? So
Yes, sir.
that's how you start doing some project or some mini project. If you don't have the subjects also, basically, you can start doing some mini project. Then basically learn from that. Then you start Googling it, or start referring some books, some material, you do it, and then later you develop on that.
Right, sir.
William Stallings is the book if you want to start.
Williams Thomas. Okay. Can we have the fifth question? So, what are the
There's
prerequisite
not.
skills that are needed to study
I think there is
cryptography?
nothing prerequisite as well. Only you can, if you're going for software techniques, you can do it using C. You can use MATLAB and so on. And if you're developing in hardware, definitely Verilog or VHDL. Okay, and then you can also use microcontrollers. So definitely you need to know C. That's it. And
Okay.
Python also. And today we have Python. Python is also, so that if you are using Python, it will be best suited for any other fields. Like that's how.
Okay, we'll be moving on to the next question. Sir, are programming languages needed for
Yes, if you
this?
are developing algorithms, yes, of course. Any programming language, either C or in MATLAB, if you're doing simple coding, right? And then if you are developing in hardware, microcontroller, C is required, or Verilog in FPGA, then Verilog, and so on. Definitely for
Okay.
algorithm developing, you need to know programming, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Whether it is a cryptography or whether it is a crypt analyst. isn't it? You need to know coding.
Okay. So thank you. The next question is, what is the role of
Yeah.
digital certificates
I
in
didn't
ACID
I didn't touch upon
encryption?
digital certificates because digital certificate is also some other this thing. Now, digital certificate is like what we sign for a what is that the paper. In a paper we sign it. So there is one third party who will say that this the whatever the this thing is it's just like a notary. You take a Xerox copy and go for a notary and sign it. A lawyer will sign it and say that this is the what is that the genuine Xeroxed copy of the original. So just like the same thing, it's a digital certificate, right? Okay, so
Yeah.
yeah. In asymmetric encryption, yeah, because uh, normally the what is that you share the keys there, isn't it? So that's why
Yes,
it
sir.
is an asymmetric encryption.
All right, so we'll be having the last question now. What are the problems you faced during your entire study of cryptography?
Problems that will be definitely there. Any because when you start from zero, you'll uh, anything is difficult to understand at the first earlier stages. Once you
Yes, sir.
understand something, then everything will move on fast, right? Once you know to how
True.
to code, then in 2 days you'll finish the coding also. Initial what is that? Initial push what you require is that is required, isn't it? So
Yes, sir.
once you start learning, then everything will be easier. Okay.
Like moving out of the comfort zone.
Yeah. Yeah. Moving
Yeah.
out of the comfort zone. That is what.
Yeah. Okay, so we've reached the end of today's session. We
Yeah.
would love to hear how you are feeling after having this pleasant interaction with us today.
Yeah. It was great, and I hope such more interactions will be there from both ends.
Of
So
course, yes, sir.
all the students can also get into touch with me. Okay. Uh, my email can be shared definitely. I will be. I'm there in LinkedIn as well as Facebook. Okay. So definitely, if there is any help regarded in this, I can help you out.
Okay, sir. So, sir, I heartily thank you again for accepting to be with us today and spending your time with us from your busy schedule. This will be a remarkable experience for everyone who listened to you today. Best of luck in all your future endeavors. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thank you as well.
All right, that's it for the evening, viewers. If you're excited, hit the exclamatory. If you're expecting more, have a comma. But this would not be a full stop. Many such sessions are coming up. Until then, stay tuned. This is Jaydeep Murthy signing off. Thank you.